It's your boy Aaron, and you're listening to the Tweens on Isaac 98.1 FM, The Promise. Always remember, in doubt, always call on Jesus.
Yes. Nothing can take his place. Hope you guys are enjoying your glorious Saturday. It's 7 minutes past the hour of 1. The Tweens are in your company. We want to say thank you to Auntie Tessa for the program Spotlight. Now you are in the tween space, calling all tweens, the ages of 11 to 19. Tune in. I've got some tweens in studio with me. What's up, Antanasia? Hi, Antanasia. What's up?
I am very good.
Yes. Jada, what about you? Yes, so you're listening to the Tweens. We've got a really special program today. It's career guidance with the Tweens, calling all aspiring attorney at laws. You don't want to miss this one, you know. We've got a really special guest. Well, the Tweens, we have been spending our glorious Saturday filming content, a lot of content. So you can check us out on our social media pages. It's Tweens98.1 on Instagram. We've got Easter Trivia with the Tweens, our last leg, our part 3 of Easter Trivia with the Tweens coming this Sunday on our Instagram. You get to win prizes, so you don't want to miss that one. You don't want to miss that one at all. Let's see if we can connect with the Tweens. Are you guys hearing me? And are you there? Still not getting through to you guys. Let's try and see. Are you guys hearing me?
Somebody make some noise. Shining like the sun, breaking through the pain. Victory is here. Victory is here now. Hallelujah.
Us now?
Yes, I can hear you now. What's up, what's up? How are you enjoying your glorious Saturday?
It's going really good so far. My vacation's going really good.
Okay.
Just so sad.
You get through?
Yes, I actually because I couldn't sleep late.
Yes, me too. I could actually enjoy some rest. Sad that it's finishing next week, but you know, you're still soaking in that little rest on the Easter vacation weekend, you know. But Jada, you look like if you disagree with that enjoying vacation, boy.
I mean, my vacation wasn't really, how to say, vacationing. Because, you know, CSEC right around the corner, so, you know, it's lessons, it's revision, it's all this. So, I know it has some tweens out there who probably just like me, real fed up, and, you know, just wish that this vacation was a little longer. But, you know, you had a hole in there, you had to push on.
You had to push on, correct. Well, yeah, as I was saying, we've been filming content. We're still filming.
Yes.
We've got some excited things coming out for the tweens, you know.
Guys, but you have to stay tuned.
Stay tuned, no. Stay tuned. Those two words. Stay on tune. Come on.
National Day Observation.
With the tweens. Yeah, we've got some new episodes. So
Exactly.
stick and stay. You know, taking some music. And when we come back, we're going to tell you some more information about the resurrection experience that's happening tomorrow. As well as we've got some prizes to give to the tweens, to our tweens, you know, our tweens. Because they work hard, you know. We work so hard to give our content and help you guys and come chill with you guys every Saturday. So we hope that you are tuning in and enjoying, you know. So taking this one, it's Glorified by Jordan Phoenix, and come chill with us. It's the Tweens on Isaac 90.1 FM.
For every battle you've won, for everything that you've done, and everything that you're gonna do. Seen too much to ever doubt it. Feels so good, I wanna shout it. Yeah, when I really think about it, all I wanna do is we gonna glorify your name. That's why we came to lift your name. Come on and sing. That's why we came. Yeah, we were made to lift your name. All the church sing. So let your glory be heard until it covers the earth. Don't wanna wait for the rocks to shout. We got a reason to praise. This is the song of the saints. No, we ain't gonna turn it down. Every day we got a reason. This church ain't only on the weekend. Yeah, when I get that kind of feeling, all we wanna do is that's why we came to lift your name. Come on and sing. That's why we came. Yeah, we were made to lift your name. All the church sing. Every day we're gonna glorify. Every day we're gonna glorify. Every day we got a reason. The church ain't only on the weekend. Yeah, when I get the kind of feeling, oh, I gotta sing. That's why we came to lift your name. Come on and sing. Glorify your name. That's why we came. Yeah, we were made to lift your name. All the church sing. Every day we're gonna glorify.
All right, please. So we're gonna take a little break, listen to some music, and we will be right back with you guys. So stick and stay.
Glorify your name.
Your Revival merch is still available at Isaac.
Get your Revival 2022 t-shirts for only $100 at the FBN Studios. For more information or to order, check our Facebook page or call 622-8981. Weekdays, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Revival 2022. Revival of the family.
Isaac Fund members get a 5% discount.
The most premium gospel event is here once again. The Gospel Music Awards of Trinidad and Tobago. GMAT 5. Join us on Sunday, the 17th of April, 2022, as we celebrate the life of our fallen legends. Queen's Hall, Port of Spain will be transformed. The lights, the stage, the pageantry. Come walk the red carpet and get all your photo ops with the stars. The media mixer starts at 5 p.m. and then the stage is lit at 6. This year, we welcome to our performance stage some of TNT's gospel music stalwarts. Reverend Angela Williams, Broadway Boys International, Melchizedek Order, Isaac and Nicolette Blackman. We will also have some of our most outstanding local gospel ministers. Jaron Nurse, Nisa, Positive, Sean Daniel, Mark Isaac, Brandon Best, Blessed Messenger, Nathaniel, and many more. Get your tickets now at Queen's Hall box office or online at queenshalltt.com. General tickets $220, VIP $330. GMAT 5, a foundation of love for a lifetime. Sunday, 17th April, 5 p.m., Queen's Hall, Port of Spain. GMAT 5 is powered by Music TT, ACGC, Queen's Hall, Lullaby Group, TTT, REO Auto, and Johnny Q Sound Company. For more info, connect with Cillian International on Facebook or Instagram.
Trinidad and Tobago Mortgage Finance Company Limited wishes to advise customers making mortgage payments over the counter that the tellers at all our offices will be open daily from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. To make payments online, book appointments, request letters, statements, documents, and access other services, please visit our online customer service center at ttmf-mortgages.com. TTMF, from here to home.
Police, good day. Officer Best Price here. Johnny Q Auto Parts Division?
Yes, sir.
I'm here to investigate an assault on batteries.
Excuse me, sir?
Is it true? You have batteries selling for $488?
Yes. Power Master, Optima, Vata, and Megastar batteries.
So I can buy a battery for $488?
Yes, sir. For cars, trucks, and boats. Backed and distributed by Massey Automotive.
Which part?
Right here at Johnny Q Hardware and Auto Parts Division, 15 Arrowbita Avenue, Woodbrook. And our new Johnny Q Superstore, located at Lowlands Mall off Claude Noel Highway in Tobago. You could call 63 Tools.
Alright, thanks, boss. Nama. Granny, do you have $488 to lend me?
Looking for biblical directives on practical and spiritual issues? Can you handle gentle and tough topics in a respectable manner? Then tune in to Kingdom Principles on Isaac the Promise. Check us out on Fridays from 7 to 8 p.m. Also on Instagram on Sundays from 8 to 9:30 p.m. Kingdom Principles.
Support. We want to tell you about Rap for Cause, a foundation put on by the Rotaract Club of Port of Spain, West, in collaboration with Rapworks. Get your chicken, fish, or soya wrap today. Tickets cost only $50 and are redeemable at Rapworks location nationwide. Arapita Avenue, Bentwood, Chagonas, or San Fernando. Just call us at 746-9631 or find us on Instagram with the handle Rotaract Post West. All proceedings go towards funding the community service initiatives of the club.
All right, Tweens. So, it's time for a little tween reward. We like to call this is the little segment called tween reward. Right, so I'm going to hand you over to Antanasia, who has some prizes to give out for the tweens in studio. You can come on the live, check it out, right? And as well as Jada. So, let's do this now. So, Antanasia, and tell us who these two prizes are for and what is the cause.
These two prizes are for Aaron and Janae. They
will not Aaron and Janae, Aaron and Jada.
Oh, Jada.
Jada. Jada shocked. Right, and this is for
working so hard. They really deserve all these prizes.
Yes,
They
so
really
back in December, right, they have been working so hard for our week of giveaways, especially in terms of editing, encouraging their friends to follow, who could get 10 friends to follow and things like that. So, well, Jada, we know you love a yellow, so this was the closest thing to a yellow. Right? And Aaron, that is for you.
Thank you.
So we appreciate you, Tweens, for everything you do, right? And Jada, I heard you have something for another tween.
Yes. So I know we had a birthday not too long ago. So Janae, come on. We have a little something for you.
Yes.
Happy belated birthday, darling.
So we know Janae celebrated, and guys, Janae is getting into sewing. So we bought a little sewing kit. Well, not a sewing kit, but some essentials that you need to start. So happy belated, right? And well, we have a gift here for Mawani. You know, we have a gift. Mawani is not here, but she'll be here really soon, right? So we want to say happy birthday to you as well. And we have one more. We have something for a special someone who's here in pink. I wonder who's that boy. She's looking to see who's in pink. So, Antonasia, we want to wish you a happy belated birthday. You celebrated what, last week?
Yeah, no, it was this week.
This week, right. So, happy belated birthday,
Thank you.
Antonasia. We appreciate all of you guys, and we have a little birthday club going on. So, big up to all the twins whose birthdays in April, right? And guys, it's almost time for career guidance. So that was it for the Tweens reward. I want to tell you guys about the revival experience, guys. It's coming tomorrow. Tomorrow, you know.
Already?
Yes, Resurrection Sunday by Aaron and Janae. Yes, so we've got artists performing music, word, by past. Yeah, you have to be there. We even have some announcers telling and people telling you what does the resurrection mean to them. All of this stuff, you know, tomorrow. So guys, tune in from 6 a.m. if you want to pray, worship. Praise God for that victory. You know, I always see the resurrection as a victory. You know, God gave us the foundation. So come celebrate with us tomorrow. You can check out the live, tune in on radio, and you don't want to miss it, you know. So guys, it's almost time for career guidance, you know. Get ready, you know. We're giving you 2 minutes, taking this music, and get your pen and paper. All right?
Yes.
All right.
I feel like Pac. I shoot a shot. I'm coming in.
See him still sleeping, so I had to shake him up. I kept it too real. I wasn't faking up. My real life was a headline. Your real life got a deadline. My timeline was a hashtag. Your timeline just a hate crime coming in hot. Feeling like pop, like an iPhone when he took 5 shots. Too much drive to ride your way. It's my top and I'm off that lot. Black on black on black on black on black on black on black. You don't have to blow the rap to get them racks on racks. Uber poolers trying to catch my vibe and find my way. Yeah, I know I'm ratchet, but I'm really safe. Hot sauce dripping. Everybody wanna start dipping. First nobody wanna listen. Now everybody pay attention. Now everybody pay fees. Even Trump gotta take a knee. When the horn blow, y'all gon' see. Make the wall fall down like I don't do the most, but I do a lot. I'ma make a toast, cause we still alive. No big, I feel like Pac. I shoot the shot. I'm coming in hot. Coming in hot, coming in hot. Shoot that shot, shoot that shot. Shoot why not? Ain't no big, feel like Pac. We can't lose, we can't stop. Yeah, coming in hot. Coming in hot. Coming in hot. Shoot that shot. Hey, why not? Hey, why not? Hey, watch out.
So it's time for all you've been waiting for. You've been hearing the promo, and it's time for what? Career guidance with the Tweens. That's right, that's right. We've got a really special guest, and we want to tell you all about her. But let's hear the promo. So that you could get ready. And when we be back, it's time for the interview. You know, it's time. It's really time. So let's go.
Hey Tweens, join us for another episode of Career Guidance with the Tweens.
Tune in from 1 to 2 p.m. as we speak with special guest Ms. Derriann Charles, Principal Attorney of Law Office and Charles and Associates,
who will be guiding us on the qualifications, techniques, and attitudes needed to become an attorney at law.
Check us out on our social media pages at FBN TV on YouTube and Isaac the Promise on Facebook, and tune in on Isaac 98.1 FM.
Tweens, get your pen and paper because you don't want to miss this one.
That's right, Tweens. So our guest today is none other than Miss Derriann P. Charles. She's the principal attorney of the Law Office of Charles and Associates, a multi-jurisdictional boutique law firm with offices in St. Kitts and Nevis and Trinidad and Tobago. Ms. Charles was born in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and is admitted to practice in Trinidad and Tobago and St. Christopher, St. Kitts and Nevis. Her practice areas includes family law, divorce, civil litigation, corporate and commercial law, construction, hotel and real estate law, probate, intellectual property and real property matters. She also specializes in corporate governance, compliance, and corporate secretarial matters, having previously held and presently holding the position of the corporate secretary. Prior to her pursuing her studies in law, Ms. Charles attended the University of the West Indies St. Augustine campus, where she read for and attained a Bachelor of Science degree in psychology, with a minor in gender and development studies with honors. Ms. Charles thereafter attended the University of the West Indies Cave Hill campus, graduating therefrom a Bachelor of Laws degrees with honors. She then attended the Hewarding Law School, Trinidad, where she completed and acquired her legal education certificate. Later, she read for a Master's of Law in International Business Law with distinction at the Robert Kennedy College in collaboration with the University of Cumbria. Ms. Charles is also a notary public within the Federation of St. Christopher, St. Kitts and Nevis, in addition to the above diverse areas of practice. She has an advanced understanding of the Spanish language. Ms. Charles was a former national swimmer who loves to read in her spare time. She's very intentional about spending time with her loved ones and engaging in activities that foster personal professional growth. Please welcome to Career Guidance with the Tweens, Ms. Derriann P. Charles. Let's head over to that interview now.
Hey Tweens, join us for another episode of Career Guidance with the Tweens.
Tune in from 1 to 2 p.m. as we speak with special guest Ms. Derriann Charles, Principal Attorney of Law Office and Charles and Associates,
who will be guiding us on the qualifications, techniques, and attitudes needed to become an attorney at law.
Check us out on our social media pages at FBN TV on YouTube and Isaac the Promise on Facebook, and tune in on Isaac 98.1 FM.
Tweens, get your pen and paper because you don't want to miss this one.
All right, Tweens. So you are joining Career Guidance with the Tweens with special guest, Ms. Derriann Charles, who's the principal attorney of the Law Office of Charles and Associates. Good afternoon, Ms. Charles.
Good afternoon, Mr. Griffith, and thank you for having me today. I'm actually very pleased to have been invited. Thank you for having me.
We are so excited for career guidance, and we want to get straight into this interview because I know some tweens here, they are aspiring attorneys and they even want to become a principal attorney at a law firm. So I'm sure they have their pencils and papers out ready to take some notes. So we want to begin. And first, I want to hear from you, Ms. Charles. Tell us about, for those who may not heard of you or who know but not know too much, who is Miss Derriann Charles?
Well, that's a good question, Mr. Griffith. Insofar as I think she's an evolving entity, so I will probably be able to tell you who she is as at this time. So as at this time, she has a number of identities and a number of roles, which range from being a daughter, a sister, a friend, an employer, a co-worker in some cases, a mentor in other cases. And as it relates to professions or roles that she carries out, she's an attorney at law. She swims, so she's a swimmer, an avid reader, a shopaholic, if I may admit, and a traveler, because I explore a lot, I travel a lot. But if I were to say in one word, she is evolving. I believe you're muted.
Oh, sorry about that. Yes. Well, we heard it here, Ms. Derriann Charles, and the main person we are now focusing on is the
the main identity. Yes.
Yeah, the main identity is the law aspect. But pleased to have you on today.
It's a pleasure to be here as well.
I'm Derriann. Above all the other jobs that there are out there, why law? Like, why did you choose law above everything else?
Thank you. Good question, Mr. Hazard. And probably I may not have the benefit of being able to tell you what the other professions hold because fortunately for me, I have not engaged in any other profession but being an attorney. But I will probably answer that question by saying I don't think I chose law. I think law probably chose me. And I say that insofar as as a young child, I read a lot. And I would do a lot of spelling bees and I have all these trophies from doing things that related to words. So I always understood that I would not be in a numeric field. So that kind of carved out a lot of those professions that required numbers. And then I would argue a lot and you would hear a lot
a switch up in the game. Can't make them tell me what to say. Can't make them tell me how to pray. I can't be the only one who's excited to call your name. I can't be the only one who's a Christian and unashamed. I know I'm not the only one that's addicted to likes and fame. Oh, but if that's worth the case, you will stay first. It's impossible to feel this way and keep it on the inside. All the things you did for me that I couldn't do for me, that is why I wear this smile. And who knows, and very few do. I've been at my lowest until you came through. The enemy had plans for me, but so do you, so do you. Hallelujah. When somebody saves your soul and makes you whole, you gotta scream and shout. My worship's at another place. If you don't understand, you're gonna put me out. But you might just have a hard time, cause under me alone, Yeshua's been good too. Worshipers around the world, make me pray come true, cause I can't be the only one who's excited to call your name. I can't be the only one who's a Christian and unashamed. I know I'm not the only one that's interested in likes and fame. Oh, but if that were the case, you would take first place. Jesus, can't quench my passion for the Lord. Jesus, you're the reason for the blessings that I see. And even when times get hard, I'm okay. I feel your favor surrounding me. When everything fails and people need an answer, I hope I'll be there, my King, to lift you up like a banner. But you can't be the only one who's excited to call your name. Oh, I can't be the only one who's a Christian and unashamed. Yeah. I know I'm not the only one that's addicted to likes and fame. Oh, but if that were the case, you would stay first. Jesus, the earth may shake and winds may blow, but you'll remain the same. Strongest love I've ever known, and power in your name. The weak find refuge in your arms, so every chance I get I'll write a song to tell of what you've done. But I can't be the only one who's excited to call you.
Alright guys, apologies for that, some technical issues in the background, but we're getting right back to that interview. Derriann Charles, it's Career Guidance with the Tweens.
In life and fame. Oh, but if that's where the case, you would stay first. Jesus, I can't be the only one who's excited. Shut up my pickups and I can't be the only one. I know I could never be alone. I know I'm not the only one that's addicted to likes and fame. Oh, but if that's where the case, you would stay first.
All right, Tweens. So you are joining Career Guidance with the Tweens with special guest, Ms. Derriann Charles, who's the principal attorney of the Law Office of Charles and Associates. Good afternoon, Ms. Charles.
Good afternoon, Mr. Griffith, and thank you for having me today. I'm actually very pleased to have been invited. Thank you for having me.
We are so excited for Career Guidance, and we want to get straight into this interview because I know some tweens here, they are aspiring attorneys and they even want to become a principal attorney at a law firm. So I'm sure they have their pencils and papers out ready to take some notes. So we want to begin. And first I want to hear from you, Ms. Charles. Tell us about, for those who may not heard of you or who know but not know too much, who is Miss Derriann Charles?
Well, that's a good question, Mr. Griffith. Insofar as I think she's an evolving entity, so I will probably be able to tell you who she is as at this time. So as of this time, she has a number of identities and a number of rules, which range from being a daughter, a sister, a friend, an employer, a co-worker in some cases, a mentor in other cases. And as it relates to professions or roles that she carries out, she's an attorney at law. She swims, so she's a swimmer, an avid reader, a shopaholic, if I may admit, and a traveler, because I explore a lot, I travel a lot. But if I were to say in one word, she is evolving. I believe you're muted.
Oh, sorry about that. Yes. Well, we heard it here, Ms. Derriann Charles, and the main person we are now focusing on is the
yes, the main identity, yes.
Yeah, the main identity is the law aspect, but pleased to have you on today.
It's a pleasure to be here as well.
I'm Derriann. Above all the other jobs that there are out there, why law? Like, why did you choose law above everything else?
Thank you. Good question, Mr. Hazard. And probably I may not have the benefit of being able to tell you what the other professions hold because fortunately for me, I have not engaged in any other profession but being an attorney. But I will probably answer that question by saying I don't think I chose law. I think law probably chose me. And I say that insofar as a young child, I read a lot. And I would do a lot of spelling bees and I have all these trophies from doing things that related to words. So I always understood that I would not be in a numeric field. So that kind of carved out a lot of those professions that required numbers. And then I would argue a lot and you would hear a lot of people around say, yeah, she's going to become an attorney, you know, and I think in some ways it became a self-fulfilling prophecy because you yourself started believing it. And as you went along, I remember being in high school and we had a career day and I went to Bishop's and there was a lady who pulled up to do the career talk that day and she pulled up in a red convertible with a dog, a puppy, and we could have been like no more than 13 or 14 and everybody's like, what does she do? Like, you know, all we want to do is like, we just want a red convertible. Like, I don't really want to know what else it takes to get there or whatever else. It's just that we want a red convertible and, you know, the flashing eyes of young people at the time. And she was an attorney. Strangely enough, a couple of years ago, I met her back on a flight back to Trinidad and I was giving her the story and she was laughing. But I think in terms of choosing the profession, I always understood I had to do something that required words because of my ability to speak and write, at least in my mind, well. And then I always heard other people say that it's something I would get into. And then I said that day at career day when she explained that that's what she was doing. I think there was an aha moment for me, like I'll certainly join that profession. And as I went along, I did the subjects and the course of actions that then led me to become an attorney.
Okay, but I'm gonna step back a bit here. I noted that you said you argue a lot, and I know in law there are going to be some discussions and arguments, right? So is it that do you need to be very good at arguments to be?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. In fact, if you are aware now, there's a more conciliatory approach. There's an approach now that requires you to try to settle matters and use the courts as a last regard. So I'm certainly not purporting to argue that it should be somebody who is able to argue that can do it. And then there are many aspects of law. You know, you can be a legislative drafter and never actually enter a courtroom. So you're drafting legislation and you don't need the skill of being able to argue because you're drafting legislation that requires an entirely different skill. But my understanding of what I thought I had in me was my ability to argue and give compelling arguments and reasons for why my position should be adopted. So I understood that I would be an advocate. So that's an area of law, but there are a lot of areas of law that would not require you to actually be arguing or in a courtroom per se. And that's a very good question because it then leads you to say you can be a lawyer, but you can be, you can do alternative dispute resolution, you can do a lot of mediation and end up not arguing too much, but just having ways in which matters could be settled without contention.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ms. Charles, for all the tweens whose interests have been piqued, or for those who are interested, where do you think a tween could go to study law, and what are the academic requirements needed to go into law?
Okay, so I'm not as young as you guys, right? So I'm going to give you what would have been the position when I did it, and then let you know in my brief reviews of what is happening now, what is other options that you could explore. So I would have done the regional option of the University of the West Indies. So we would have done first year at the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine, and then we would have done our second and third year at the University of the West Indies, Barbados. And then it would require us as Trinidadians there are 3 law schools in the region. And so you are then zoned back to Trinidad because there's Hewitt Law School in Trinidad as a Trinidadian. So based on where you are in the region, you would rezone to the other 2 law schools. There's also, so in addition to the University of the West Indies method, there are various local institutions that allow you to do a LLB, a Bachelor's of Law. Because once you finish that Bachelor's of Law and you acquire a bachelor's, then you would then do, in the case of the University of the West Indies, there's an automatic entry into the Hewitt Law School. But in the case of doing it by an external institution, you then have to do an entrance exam, because as you would appreciate, there are limited spaces and there are a lot of persons applying for those competing spaces. So external programs will do an exam into the Hewitt Law School and then do law school there. There's also the United Kingdom option that then requires you to do a LPC conversion program, so that when you get back here, you do a 6-month internship with a law firm, and then you are able to practice. So it then requires, I mean, obviously those decisions would be based on what resources. I know the GATE program was available, or whatever other funding is available, because those have different cost effects based on what you decide to do. So if you do it locally at UWI St. Augustine, you're at home. If you do it regionally, you have to study being either on hall or rent, and transportation costs, and of course your books and every other fee associated with going to an institution in the region. And it's even more if you go to an institution in the UK. So there are several routes that you could employ, and then it then requires you then to consider such factors as costs.
Okay, thank you very much. And the academic requirements for the law.
Thank you, Mr. Richards. I forgot that aspect of your question.
No problem.
I know, like I would say to people, like with me, when I got into law, I had already done a first degree. So there are persons who would have completed a first degree, had upper second or first class degrees, and then applied to get into law. There are persons who did social sciences at their 6th form level, which is now CAPE, would have done things like history, sociology, communication studies. But I think there are options where you can actually do subjects other than those modern studies, social studies, communication type studies, and get into law based on what the results or grades that you get. So there are working adults who would have also had experience as working in law firms as paralegals. There's also that option because they would consider your work experience as opposed to your academic qualifications. But academic qualifications is one option, and then work experience is another. So it's not only restrained to academic qualifications. There are persons, because we were in law school with persons who are a lot older than us, and it's merely because they had worked in the legal field for quite some time, and in truth and in fact had known processes a lot better than us who had learned it academically in a classroom setting.
Okay, so it's good to know that there are multiple routes, because even I thought that it was just one way, which was the academic way to get into
Yeah, no, there are multiple ways. And as I said, there's expanding institutions locally that are allowing you to apply. So I was told by a colleague recently about them doing one at a local institution, doing it through the University of London. And their academic qualifications would have been a different requirement to what the University of the West Indies would have been. And in some cases, a little less stringent. So there are a number of different routes. It just requires you sometimes to do a little research and find out, listen, this might be asking for X, Y, and Z, and I have X and Y, but they would allow you to take X, Y, and not have Z because I have worked at a law firm for 2 years. You know, there's always a way in which you can consider it, or they would consider it. There's a lot of flexibility now.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So in case you tweens have just joined in, we are speaking with Ms. Derriann Charles. who is the principal attorney of the law office of Charles and Associates. So, Ms. Charles, what was the launch of your career like, and how would you advise a tween who is now coming out of law school to begin their journey?
Okay, so I'll probably backtrack and tell them that probably me speaking to my former self. In starting my journey, I would have said I would have preferred to have started it even before I left law school. So there are all these summer holidays you have between first semester or one semester and the other. I would suggest that you seek out an attorney in a practice area that you like, and ask them if they would have any issue or any objection to you interning at their office. As attorneys, we always like interns. You always give them a lot of work that you don't necessarily want to be doing or have the time to do. And I will tell them, even in advance of ending law school, to probably seek out an attorney and see if they can offer or volunteer their services to work at that firm. But if I were to answer exactly what you asked me, Tristan, in terms of the start or the launch of my career, I would indicate that I was one of those people who was always Google searching for any law firm that needed help. So even before I got called, and even before law school ended, I would have reached out to an attorney and asked them if it was possible for me. So I would look at my calendar and say, listen, I have school on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, nothing on Thursday and nothing on Friday. Then I would say, listen, I'm offering my services from 9 till 2 on a Thursday and on a Friday. Can I come in and learn something? Can I be attached to an attorney and learn something? And then my credit union at the time would have allowed us to do in-service training at their lawyers. So I jumped on that opportunity. So in short, what I'm suggesting is always search for opportunities. Everybody always knows somebody. Ask a question and jump out there and see if you can start getting ahead of your peers by getting some on-the-ground training and experience in a way that you don't necessarily get in school. So in school, we have legal aid, and they will teach you how to interact with clients and simulate what it will be like when you actually become an attorney. But it's entirely different for when you go and work at a law firm and you are dealing with an attorney who's dealing with actual clients. So I will tell them at the launch of their career, and if you are able to do so even before your career launches, get yourself attached to a firm or to an attorney and start getting real life engagement of what it would be like once you start practicing in the area that you would intend to practice in. And you could very well find that you say, listen, when I come out here, I'm going to become a criminal attorney. And then you work with an attorney for 2-3 months, you'll be like, oh, I don't like criminal law. But you get exposure to 2-3 family matters and say, listen, I really want to do a family matter because that's really the kind of thing I'm into. So it allows you to also shape the career and the direction that you're heading.
Well, Tweens, you heard it here, experience of those of you guys who just came out of law school and maybe not sure what to do. Experience is key. Go find an internship.
Yes, well said.
Ms. Charles, one thing I like to say a lot is as the years go by, right, you tend to notice that the fields tend to get a little tighter and a little more competitive and more common. For example, when technology recently came out, not much people were into that field, because it was kind of a complex field.
Right.
But with regards to the law now, we're realizing that a lot more people are entering the law field. It's becoming a lot more common. So my question is, how do you distinguish yourself from a lot of other attorneys?
So one of the things I remember senior attorney telling me when I got called is, do not consider when people say the legal profession is saturated. There's always room at the top. And I remember being very young and be like, what is he talking about? At the top where you could only get to the top as time goes by. But what he meant is, if you put the time in and you put the work in and you become very good, there's always room at the very good limited space top. So in terms of distinguishing yourself, I would tell people to go on continuous training, like just always do professional and personal training. There's so many webinars and so many things you could do now that are free. Like COVID made things just like literally come down to nothing at all. And you don't even have to leave your bedroom, right? So just look online, Google stuff, see what the first world countries are doing, join yourself in those webinars, learn what's happening. And in addition to being obviously excellent in the law, do a lot of reading, keep up to date on what is happening in the advancement of law, and just be the best you can because there is room at the top.
Okay, because it's really it's a very important thing to think about because a lot of people, or if not many, they sometimes think, well, that field it's too cluttered, so I don't think that I might get into that field because I have a friend, right?
Yeah.
I asked him why he doesn't want to get into the tech field. He was like, well, boy, I heard that field is very difficult and technical, and too much people are getting into that field, so I don't think that's going to be for me at all. And
Right.
that's just one thing that some people need to know. Although it may be getting a little cluttered, there's still a chance that there is space for you, you know?
And I will tell you, Mr. Hazard, and a lot of times we stand in our own way in our heads, right? So I would hear my sister say, no, 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 you can't go there and do that because they won't let you do it. And then you pick up the phone and you ask a question and they'll be like, oh yeah, you can. So you might be in your head in your own way. You know, you might say, yeah, it's cluttered. And then you get into it and you realize, listen, I'm really good at this aspect of it and I don't have much people in that aspect. And I'm going to just really become really, really good that I'm the go-to person in this area. So I don't know if I buy or subscribe to that thing about, yeah, it might be cluttered, because as I said to you, you know, the better you get at something, people want, and if you think of it actually, right, in a family matter, let's say a divorce, there's a petitioner, there's a respondent. Each one of those persons have separate attorneys. So each person has, any one matter has at minimum 2 attorneys. And there's a lot of conflict. There's a lot of criminal matters. There's a lot of intellectual property matters. There's a lot of family matters, children matters. And it's, I mean, sometimes I laugh because I have a practice in Trinidad and in St. Kitts. And sometimes when I see the divorces in St. Kitts at the end of the year has the number 55 or 56. When I reached to April or May in Trinidad, it reached to like 500. So you're telling me it might be, you know, the 500th divorce, and each one of those divorces had 2 lawyers at minimum, you know, so there is work, you know, and again, it also requires you to put yourself out there, let people know that this is what you're doing, let people know that, you know what, Mr. Hazard is available if I need help. And he might do a couple of things free in the beginning. And once they realize, listen, he did those 1 or 2 free things good, Mr. Hazard will say, listen, guys, on the 3rd one, I'm really going to have to bill you. You know, but you've gotten your name there, you've gotten your exposure, and then now people know this is the go-to guy. And then you have referrals. Once you do good work, word of mouth, then gets, you know, call Mr. Hazard, he can help you, he helped me. And you getting free referrals without a business card or without a website or anything. So I do not believe that in saturation, because I think once you do things well, you will get clients, you will get work.
So are you saying that one of the best ways to get yourself known out there, especially since you're in university, or even if you're now coming out of high school and you don't really have a job yet,
Yeah.
is it best to kind of, how to say it, market yourself but without charging people?
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, once you are not yet qualified, you can't charge. That's factual. So you can't charge yet. But you can imagine, Tristan has a law firm, and you say, Tristan, can I come interning with you? And then, you know, so you start taking good instructions during the consultations with clients, and then you see 1 or 2 precedents, and you start drafting up petitions and applications. And Tristan knows from the day Mr. Hazard gets called on the 14th of April, I'm going to ask Mr. Hazard to come work at my firm on the 15th. You would do it. I mean, you might even ask for just having a stipend, because you have to get to and from, and obviously that's a cost. But you're not going to ask for a salary or pay, and you're going to be doing work whilst you're getting experience, you're building up your precedent bank. And from the day you get called, you have a sure job. And you might get a job before your colleagues, because you've already put in the free work, and now you're able to get the income earning work. But you have to put yourself out there. People wouldn't know you in a vacuum. Yeah.
This interview is going so good, but unfortunately, that's the end. So, guess what? Part 2 is next week, Saturday. If you're enjoying this interview with Miss Derriann P. Charles, you can tune in next week, Saturday, same time, same place, for Career Guidance Part 2. All aspiring attorneys, I hope you guys took notes and keep your notebooks at hand for part 2 next week. Please have an enjoyable week to all the tweens going out to school next week. Stay safe. And that's it. Youth in Focus is up next. Tomorrow is the Resurrection Experience. Tune in for that, and you don't want to miss it. So that's it. It's Tweens, and we're out.
His Grace, His Mercy, the concert.
Your mercy.